You're listening to the OMG Hour.
Welcome, everybody, to the What Day Is It episode of the OMG Hour. This is episode 365. I, of course, am your host, Sean Evans, otherwise known as Zion Tane.
It's kind of fun that it's, the What Day Is It episode on episode 365, which is 365 days of the year.
If you can go back now and listen to every episode of the show one day at a time, and it'll be a year.
Unless it's a leap year.
Which this year is.
Yeah, so you'll be short one, so then wait till next week to do all of that. And I'm Tico, Mr. Second Place, because I keep forgetting to say that part.
Thank you. I was going to ask you, who are you? I don't even know who you are. You have to remind me every week, Tico. That's why we do this in the morning.
That's, it's a good call. You know what it feels like? So, you remember the first Batman? The Tim Burton?
Oh,
the Tim Burton one.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, I think it was the first one where the Joker poisoned all of the beauty supplies and everything like that, and you saw that newscast, and they're just progressively looking worse and worse because they can't wear makeup or anything like that. Yes. That's what I feel like this podcast has gotten to. Well, my hair has gotten so ridiculously long; it's like hat or nothing. I can't style this anymore.
I have not. Well, I think I said it last week, but now it's 4. I think I'm going on 5 weeks. I literally have not been out of the house for 5 weeks. I have worn my comfy pants every single day. Yes, they've been washed. And but it's like it's actually that point in my life, or in this whole quarantine, where, like I said at the beginning of the show, it's like I don't know what day it is anymore. It's like, what day is it? In fact, today is Good Friday, and it feels weird having a day off on, when I haven't even left the house in 5 weeks.
Yeah, every day feels like a Saturday now. Because I'm not taking anybody anywhere. Every day feels like there's something I should be doing,
but you can't.
But it feels like there's something I should be doing, but it also feels like, well, I don't have to leave the house at the same time. It's a weird sensation.
I agree. The last several weekends, one, there's no church. So it's like, I've been going to church since I was 9 years old. So Sundays to me is get up, get ready for church, and you go and you come back around lunchtime, right? Now I'm like, Sunday is just like another Saturday all of a sudden. And it's so bizarre to me, and even like every day it feels like a Saturday, except I do work during the week. But even on the weekends, the whole weekend itself still feels strange because I haven't left the house. So I don't feel like this is my day to sleep in, because I've been pretty much sleeping in every day. I get up because I just get up and I come straight downstairs. I don't have to get ready for work.
Yeah, I'm up at 8 o'clock every morning without fail. I'm just getting up and I'm coming down and I'm sitting in front of my desk. It's like I've got little bits of stuff to do for work, but
that's what sleeping in is to me. It's like 8 o'clock.
Oh.
Although the other day, I got to tell you, I must have needed it because I didn't wake up until 9 a.m. I'm like, wait a minute. I usually wake up between 7:30 and 8 o'clock, without an alarm.
Yeah.
I did not wake up at all until 9 a.m. So I definitely must have needed that sleep that night.
Every once in a while you get that. I did have a day last week or yesterday or 3 weeks ago. I can't remember now what it all just flows together. But I had a day where I was sitting around and I got bored of watching TV. I got bored of playing video games and I took a nap. Right? And I got up from that nap.
That happens.
I got up for a nice 2-hour nap, and I got up and I went and I grabbed myself a bite to eat, and I'm like, well, and I went and took another nap. I had nothing to do, and it was just nap, and then I had a bite to eat and took another nap. That's where we've gotten to.
I know. We my wife and I think are going to try to get outside to our yard tomorrow and try to do some yard cleanup. Our neighbor, so this is a bit of off the topic for our show, but my neighbor came out. We have these hedges between the houses and the hedges are all on my property line.
Yeah.
She came out with a hedge trimmer and literally hacked the hedge down halfway, all the way across. But then she left all the hacked branches on our lawn and walked away.
Okay. Number one, those are your hedges, not hers, so she shouldn't have touched them.
I agree.
Number two,
listen,
she should have cleaned that.
She should have cleaned it up. Like,
yeah.
I don't personally care that she hacked them down because they're ugly.
Yeah.
But don't leave the freaking mess on my lawn.
Did you throw it back over the fence?
No, I haven't yet.
Oh, you should do that. We have the same situation with our neighbor to the right, where we have it's their hedge on their side of the thing, but it grows through our fence.
Ah, yes.
Right, but they're really nice about it. He comes, he says, "Hey, if it's okay, can I run back there? I'm just going to clean that up," and he tidies it up so it's not like poking through the fence anymore, and he takes it all and throws it away.
Yeah. She just hacked. In fact, it's such a bad hack job too, that there's still branches just hanging there, like not even off. They're just hanging. Like, it's so ridiculous.
if you stop sunbathing in your backyard, Sean, the neighbors aren't going to feel the need to cut down that hedge to get a better view.
Shush. So I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing still, and I will have you know that you should be happy to know that last night, Tico, I did discover that Tarantula Island you have been hearing about.
And burn
No,
to the ground?
It was, so I have been going out each night with the very, I don't know, I don't even know the word. My mind's going blank. That's how bad my quarantine is. Anyway, the reason I've been going out to these random islands every night is to find tarantulas because they sell for a lot of money in the game. Okay.
Yeah.
So I go to the island and I farm the tarantulas. And there's a way if you clear the whole island of all the trees and the flowers and stuff, then only certain bugs will spawn. And so you have a better chance of finding a tarantula because nothing else will spawn. But last night I found this island. It was a round island with a round moat in the middle, sort of near the edge, and then inside was a perfectly round piece of land, and there was always 4 tarantulas, 4 of them, somewhere on that little circle, at all times. As soon as I caught one, another one would appear immediately. There was always 4 of them. So within 20 minutes, I had caught 37 tarantulas and took them back. And did you see the picture I posted to Facebook?
It's far. Too many.
I stacked them all up into a wall of tarantulas, and I think I'm going to wait on them because there is a character in the game called Flik who visits your island maybe once a week or so, and he buys any bugs for 1.5 times their value. So tarantulas are normally worth 8,000 bells. If you sell them to Flik, they're 12,000.
All right, but tarantulas aren't a bug; they're an arachnid.
Well, he buys bugs of all kinds. Do spiders not bug you?
I'm not a fan of them at all.
Okay, so then they are a bug.
They are a bother. They are a pest. They are evil, and
but they're tarantulas. So isn't that better? Big, hairy, strong.
I don't know why you think that making them bigger would be better. Like, that's not going to make it a better situation. It's let's take this thing that you're petrified of, and let's make it bigger.
Well, that way you can, if it's bigger, you can talk to it. You can have a face to face.
I don't want that getting near my face. I don't want it getting anywhere near my face. I saw on Reddit the other day, somebody had posted a picture of their tarantula, and it was like walking around, and then they panned to the left. It was beside like an Australian tarantula, which was like, the size of a regular tarantula. This thing here was like 10 times the size.
No, I've seen pictures of spiders in Australia that are like the size of a dinner plate.
Yeah, this was. Ugh.
So that's where Tico wants to go.
I've been to Australia. I saw one big one, and from across, and I'm good. I don't need to go back now.
You're good. I'm done. I'm good.
Good.
Speaking of being done, have you ever wanted to love a game so much, but you felt like you were the worst player of that game?
That's most of the games I play. I fall into that worst player of the. Yeah, there's often games where it's like, man, I'm so looking forward to this. I so want to play this, and you get into it, and you just can't grasp the controls. You're just not feeling it. So many people play like these games like PUBG and Fortnite, which I just not me. And it's not for me.
Well, I have a game that I have been reviewing on PS4, and it's called it's a sequel, TT Isle of Man Ride on the Edge 2. It is it is very loud volume here. Let me turn that down a bit.
All right.
It is a sports bike racing. Okay, so TT Isle of Man is an actual real life superbike race.
Yeah.
Okay. And the game itself it's beautiful. Like, I feel like this is sort of like the Forza of motorbikes. Okay, this game. It takes on the same qualities as Forza with your drive line. It'll tell you if you're going too fast for a corner, so you can slow down, right? So it's got all those niceties that things like Forza have. The game plays really well. It looks beautiful, and it honestly feels fast. Like, it feels so fast. You remember how fast the original Need for Speed felt when we first started playing it? Like, everything was just going by and you felt like you were going fast. This game feels like you are going really, really fast. But I feel like I'm the worst player of this game. I just cannot grasp how to control the bikes, you know?
So you get a good run going, and then a turn comes up way too fast, and you end up hitting something?
Oh, absolutely. Like, there was one race, I was trying to get footage of this track for today.
Yeah.
And I am not even kidding you. I had to restart that race more than 10 times on the first corner, Tico. That's how terrible I am at this game.
So I am bad at like anything dealing with motorcycle. Anytime I've done it in like GTA or any of these racing games, where like, oh, get this particular vehicle, and you have to get a motorcycle or even a scooter or anything like that. And I find the same thing. It's like the first opportunity there is to hit something, I hit it.
Right.
The only one where I've been slightly okay at it was when they added the motorcycles to Burnout Paradise. That was the only one where I was slightly okay at, and I still hit things pretty regular.
See, the thing is, though, Burnout is an arcade racer. This is a sim, like actual Forza Motorsport, So, I used to ride a bike. I love riding. I've never ridden these kind of street or sports bikes, mind you, or super bikes, but I want to love this game so much, but I feel like I am frustrating myself to no end trying to get through these tracks. And it's not an easy game. I like in the few tracks I have gone through, I am like 6 out of 8. I don't finish anywhere near first place, even on the starting tracks, like the tracks the game starts you with. Not the tutorial, but the actual in your career. You start out and you have to play so many tracks before you can move on and get sponsored and get into the actual tournament, right? So you play a few, and even those few initial ones, I was placing like 5th, 6th, 7th place out of 8. That's how difficult this game is and how precise you have to be to play it. If you love street bike racing, like actual sims, this is a game you have to play. It is on the top quality, like Forza. You've got all of the you can customize the bike, you can get perks that you can add to the bike for a race. One of the perks, for example, is slightly warmed tires to begin the race with. So you're not starting the race with cold tires. So it gives you a bit better grip right away. What I'm finding is there's a real fine line between turning slightly and turning full out. And I'm always finding that I feel like I'm taking either I'm not turning enough or I'm turning too much, right? And I end up spinning the bike because I've got too much of an angle going on around the corner. But
What did they give you when you wipe out? Do you actually see your rider go flying off the bike, or is it just cut right back?
I feel like there's no way that guy survived this. No, you go flying off the bike. As far as
Okay.
like there's an example
Oh,
right
okay.
there. The bike continues, you go flying like ragdoll, and then you restart. And of course, by the time you restart, a couple of people have already passed you.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, the game is so well done. It really is. It is a fantastic game. I am just horrible at it. And like I prefaced the whole review with, this is a game I desperately want to love, but I just can't play it. I'm like horrible at this game. I am absolutely horrible.
Just keep trying, just day after day. Just keep giving it a shot.
Just
Keep going.
One
keep
race
going.
after
keep going.
another. Oh man, I feel like you really need to play through and don't worry about what place you get in right now until you can upgrade the bike and get better parts. And
Just
really
get used to doing the
understand
track. Yeah, like
Well,
finish
yeah.
8th or whatever every time, but just make sure you get through in the whole thing just without crashing once. And then
absolutely.
as you
Yeah.
then you'll know like, oh, there's a turn coming up. Because I can guarantee you the real guys, they know the thing. They know like, hey, I've got a hard left coming up. So they know that they have to start, even though they can't see the hard left yet.
Right. So this
this-
is on PS4. I believe it's PS4, Xbox, and it is $60. I believe
Okay.
$60 US, so 70.
So it's the
Canadian.
70 to 69 to 79 range
Yeah,
Canadian.
it is a full priced game, but if you are into the sim racing, this is definitely for you. If you love things like Forza and you want to play a Forza style game but with just superbikes, check this out for sure.
I think, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think the first one is actually in Game Pass.
Maybe, yeah, because this is the second one. So there
Yeah.
you go. Check out the first one on Game Pass. I haven't played the first, so I can't compare the two. But graphics wise, this game is beautiful.
Yeah, it does. It looks very pretty, especially since we can't go outside now. It's a good alternative.
This is it. This is me going outside here.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been playing this week. Obviously, along with everything's been Animal Crossing every day for me. So did you try anything at all new this week?
Not new. I barely turned my Xbox on this week.
What?
I know.
Chico, you realize what's happening now, right? There are achievements out there screaming your name.
Don't worry. Don't
Oh.
worry. I'm still getting achievement. I've been playing Saints Row 4 on my PC because it's in Game Pass on PC. So I finally
right.
have a PC that can run stuff, and so I'm getting achievements playing that. So it's an old game that I've played before. That I just wanted something that
Is it the definitive edition?
It is the definitive edition.
Of course it is.
I don't. So I'm playing through some of that. It's nice, easy, mindless thing to play as I watch through my billionth episode of whatever I'm currently watching.
Yeah. It is a strange, when you're stuck in the house, I feel like, I don't know, there's just something, I don't even know how to describe it, but there's no like looking forward to coming home after work and sitting down in front of a game because you're already at home.
Yeah, it is a very weird feeling, and I find myself, sometimes you like, get up, you're like, I don't feel motivated to do any work. I just want to play video games. It's gotten to the point where I've gotten past that. I just like want to do nothing.
I want to, or watch TV. I've been watching, and I'm one episode left of the original Amazing Stories, which ran for 2 seasons from 1985 to 1987. Here's the funny thing, Tico. I have 1 episode left. Today is April 10th, 2020. The final episode of Amazing Stories aired on April 10th, 1987.
Well, that is weird.
So 33 years ago today was when and I'm going to watch the final episode today. I just found that was really funny. I went to look how many episodes left, and I noticed on the episode I was ready to watch yesterday was April 3rd. I'm like, wait a minute. That means the final episode is tomorrow. Like today, 33 years ago. So I thought that was interesting. So yes, I'm going to finish watching that. You remember when I first mentioned I'm watching it, how I loved that game, or the game, we're talking TV now.
Yeah.
How I loved that show as a kid.
Yeah.
As I'm watching through the full 2 seasons now, I'm realizing that as a kid, I don't think I ever actually saw it on TV.
No?
And I think what had happened is I must have had a VHS tape or something with like the best of.
They did have a couple of best of best of volume 1 and volume 2.
And I think that's what
you
I
watched?
had. Because
you're not remembering most of the episodes?
No, there were, I think, 4 episodes, which makes sense because typically those cassettes had 4 episodes on them.
Yeah.
There were 4 episodes, including the 1-hour episode that had Kevin Costner in it, that I remembered, right? And I remembered the Kevin Costner one almost by heart. I had seen it so much. But all of the rest, other than those 4 from season 1, I haven't seen a single one of them.
I'm going to have to go back and watch it to see how many I remember too. The one that really sticks out in my head that I absolutely 100% remember is the Head of the Class episode.
Yeah, I just watched that one the other day.
Yeah, that's the one episode
with
that
Doc
is
Brown.
with Doc Brown that's ingrained in my head. And I have not rewatched it, and I probably haven't seen it in 20 years, but I still remember the end of that episode where he pulls the scarf back.
Yes. So you must have had volume 2. I had volume 1.
Okay.
You must have had volume 2 because volume 1 had all season 1 episodes, and volume 2 must have been the best of season 2.
Best of season 2, but let me tell you,
there are definitely great episodes, and there are definitely some terrible episodes. There is an animated episode in season 2 that is just like, what was the point of that? Like, it was really dumb. And then there was another episode that, while I love the concept and the story, the acting of the 2 main characters were horrible. It was like, are you kidding me right now? So this one kid who's going through this weird okay, so the episode's about this kid finds out he's actually an alien, and they're going back home 80 million light years away. Okay. But every single word that comes out of his mouth comes out with a smile on his face. Like he doesn't know how to show any kind of emotion in his acting except smiling through everything he says.
Well, I mean, this was, back in the day. This is the best they could get for kid actors.
Now, here's the funny thing. So I looked up it wasn't kid, they're teenager actors, right? In fact, I think they were probably in their 20s because when I looked them up, they would have been in their 20s. Like mid-20s when they played these teenagers. I have something to go on that as well. But first, I looked up those 2 teenager actors, and neither one of them have been in anything since like the late 80s, early 90s anyway.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, that explains why they're so bad, because they were bad. They never went anywhere after that.
They didn't get any extra work after this.
And not only that, but I have noticed that in a lot of these shows, whenever there are children, the parents, in my personal opinion, are like way too old to be parents of like a 9-year-old.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of times that they hired, parental looking people that just, you're looking, it's like, how does this, you know what it reminds me of? So the movie Jaws, I don't know if you've seen Jaws, the one with the shark, the shark movie.
Yes, the shark movie. That's right.
Yeah. So
that's
in
the
shark
movie that at the drive-in as a kid, I told my mom to wake me up every time the shark was on. That's all I cared about was the shark.
Just a shark?
Yeah.
Okay. So in that movie, the actress actually who played I can't remember what character she played, but the actress just passed away from coronavirus. She played the mother of the first boy who was eaten.
Okay.
In the movie. And this kid was supposed to be like a 8 or 9-year-old kid who was eaten by the thing, and so she's distraught and she's upset but I remember looking, it's like, how did this woman have a kid that young back then? Like,
she was old.
She was like in her 50s, I think, when she did the movie.
Well,
like
yes, that was the same as this one episode. It was called Without Diana. It's an episode in season 2. And there is a child who is 9 years old, because they actually say that in the show, that she's 9 years old.
Yeah.
But the father, who's the actor who's playing her father, when I looked him up, he was in his 50s when he was playing that part.
Yeah, you're looking. It's like, don't you mean grandfather?
Yeah, right? Because 9 years old, I'm like, okay, you should be like, what, early 30 to early 30s with a 9-year-old? Maybe late 30s. If you had your child late,
Yeah.
maybe you could be 38, 39.
Yeah,
But if this was like the first child, so if I'm thinking myself, for example, my firstborn Ariel, I was 26 years old, which means when she was 9, I was 34. 35.
Yeah.
I was 35 years old.
yeah,
He was 20 years older than me, playing a father of a 9 years old.
yeah.
Right?
It just, and it feels weird because you're looking and they look more grandfatherly or
Yes,
grandmotherly than
absolutely.
parently.
Yeah,
Parently. I don't know
yeah.
if parently is a word, but you know,
Yeah, parental.
parental.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
he was like he was older than I am now, and my firstborn is 22. You know, it's like
Yeah.
something does not up here. But I've noticed that throughout the whole series that they didn't have like young actors playing parents. Like the young actors, the 20-year-olds were playing teenagers,
yeah.
right? They didn't have teenagers back then playing teenagers like we do now.
Well, there's a lot of it was, what they were allowed to get away with child actors and stuff like that, because there was limits to the amount of work that they could do and stuff and how long of a day they could put in, which there still is, I think. But they because of that, they tended to go away from younger players. That's why, like, the Beverly Hills 90210, like all of the characters playing, high school students were in their 30s.
They were in their 20s and 30s. Well, yeah, Dylan was in his 30s
Yeah,
playing a high school student.
Andrea was 35 or something like that.
Yeah. Yes, Andrea was the oldest of all of them, even the actors.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, it's so weird though. Like, but some of the special effects in Amazing Stories back then was when I think back to when we were watching stuff like that, we would have been like amazed at what we were seeing. It looked
yeah.
so futuristic. It looked like, whoa, man, that's so cool. Now you look, I'm like, man, that looks like a piece of plastic. That
Yeah, like
special effect is horrible. What is that?
Yeah, that's pretty cheesy and cheap and like,
Right?
yeah.
Bad. It's so bad, but you look back to, like, have you ever gone back to watch The Last Starfighter?
I have not recently seen that. Like I've gone back to like some stuff that I watched in like the, like 80s and 90s stuff.
So
and yeah,
CGI back in those days is what we call today as stand-in CGI. Like they were doing full-on CGI back then of what we use today as like your storyboarding.
Yeah.
Right? That's how bad it was back then. But that was state of the art back then. State of the art in the 80s is now stand-in CGI today.
Yeah.
It's so
and that's
funny.
I mean, I'm glad that we've got better stuff. I don't know, like a lot of this stuff, especially these anthology series, it makes me want to watch Love, Death, and Robots again.
Oh yeah, yeah, that show is so good. I just want to stick on one quick thing about Amazing Stories, the new one, which I just finished watching 5 episodes. Only 5 episodes, Tico.
Is that the whole series?
The whole series on Apple TV Plus was 5 freaking episodes, and that's it. What is this?
You're getting a lot more limited run series of things. I mean, it's easy to do 5 episodes because you're getting a different director for each one, a different cast, and you're like, you can make all 5 of them at once and then throw them up, and then they can do another season.
Why not make more when they're all, like you said, they're all anthologies, which means every episode is its own thing.
Yeah.
Which means you could be filming somewhere in the world, say 10 episodes at a time, because you don't need the same actors, you don't need the same director.
It's hedging your bets versus, do we make a 20 episode season of this and then people hate it and don't watch it and it does nothing for us? We've spent all this money. Or do we do 5 episodes, and if people love it, guess what? Now you got 10 episodes coming for series 2.
Well, I hope so, because season 1 was fantastic. I think it started out with a bang. The first episode was fantastic. Second episode was good, not as good. I believe the third, and then the rest were actually pretty good. I think the third one was okay. It was about a grandfather and a son who essentially become superheroes for a short time. It was
spoilers.
Fun. It was
spoilers.
No,
I haven't seen that one yet.
It's in the description.
Oh.
It was a fun episode, but the final episode was sort of on par with the first episode. You know, it's just really really good drama, but with that science fiction twist. And that's what I love about Amazing Stories. It's always a really good drama with some kind of a twist you don't see coming, or some kind of a scientific or science fiction-y twist that really punches it through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they may have had more that were planned for this series as well that may have been disrupted with the virus as well. So because they may have done. Here's your 5. These are going to go to air. We're going to be finishing off the last.
According to IMDb, that was the series, 5 episodes.
Oh,
like there were no more planned after that. So I just hope they do more. Like
eventually,
it was great. It was great. I was really looking forward to it coming back, and it's like, wait a minute, we're done already. And I watched it on Apple TV Plus, so I don't know how this worked, but Apple TV, if you have an Apple TV right now, load up the Apple TV app, because when I loaded it up, I had learned about this earlier. I got an email saying Apple TV Plus free for a year. I'm like, really? So I loaded up the app on my Apple TV, and sure enough, sign up for 1 year free of Apple TV. Cancel anytime. I'm like, sure. Thank you very much. I'll take a year free.
Yeah. A lot of companies have been very giving in regards to, online content and stuff like that during this time, because they know everybody's stuck at home. So they're using it both as a great marketing tool to say, hey, you're home anyways. Here's some free stuff. Hop on and check out our offerings, and hoping that people will then continue, obviously, after that, to giving longer trials and stuff like that than usual. Yeah. But also giving people who are stuck in their homes something to do, which is quite nice.
Yeah, because all everyone has to watch nowadays is Tiger King.
Yeah. Another episode, by the way, coming this weekend of Tiger King.
What? I thought it was done.
It was done, and I guess with with everybody being as happy, the makers of the documentary had a whole bunch of extra footage, so they've thrown together some more interviews and stuff like that, and are putting a new episode up this weekend.
Wow, that's. I haven't even got past the first episode still.
Well, that's because you haven't watched it. You have to put it on the TV. Otherwise it just doesn't.
Listen, I watched the first episode. It did not do anything for me. Although, weirdly enough, last night I had a dream that I had a pet Black Panther.
Well, see, there you go.
I don't know what that means.
You just want your own series, The Panther King.
That's it. Yeah, I want a Black Panther, and it was like he was acting like my cat, like rolling around and wanting to be petted.
Yeah,
petted. Is petted a word? I've always wondered that.
Yes.
He wants to be petted. Is that even a word? I don't know.
Well, no, it's a bad sentence, but petted is a word. But he wants to be pet.
He is a pet, but does he want to be petted?
Patted.
He wants you to pet him.
He wants you to pat him.
Pat.
He
wants to be
patted.
Hey, welcome to the patting hour. Any exciting movies you watched recently? For those of you who don't realize what's going on here, we're literally just vamping this episode. We had nothing to talk about.
Yeah, I'm looking at the show notes every time. It's like, there's still nothing to talk about. He hasn't added anything in the last 5 minutes. Okay, we'll just keep.
No. I mean, I did have an article of all the games that have been delayed due to coronavirus. Do we want to go through that real quick? I mean, some of them we already knew about. For example, The Last of Us 2.
The Last of Us 2 has been delayed.
Indefinitely. We don't even know. Marvel's Iron Man VR it's been delayed. The Outer Worlds Switch release has been delayed.
Yeah.
Fallout 76 Wastelanders update. I thought that was out now.
Yeah.
Oh, it's only been pushed a week.
Oh, yeah. I saw people talking about it. I assumed it was out.
Yeah, me too.
To be honest with you.
Minecraft Dungeon has been delayed until May.
They pushed it a month.
Yeah.
Which is fine. That's going to be part of Game Pass.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I've actually already preloaded it.
The Last of Us Part 2 and Marvel's Iron Man VR have been delayed until further notice.
Yeah, that just seems to be like they're doing work and tweaking it and stuff like that, and figuring out how close it's going to come to actual PS5 release.
Yeah, I think what they've done is they've like, hey, we need to delay these games. What excuse can we use? Hey, It's the coronavirus. That's what we're going to say.
Yeah, I mean, listen. It's believable.
Of course it is, because people can't be in the office.
Yeah.
So,
and there's certain stuff that you're not going to allow them to take home to do work from home stuff
no.
with.
Well, they could VPN in, right?
Yeah. There's always that option as well. There's some stuff coming out. The Gears Tactics is still slated for the end of this month.
Right. Okay.
On PC. That Final Fantasy VII game.
That's out today.
Out today.
I'm still like, do I want to buy this game or not? Oh, I played the demo and I'm like, I still don't know how I feel about the game. But it's Final Fantasy VII and I loved it. So like, it does look amazing. You know, this isn't just a definitive edition. This is literally a remake.
A full remake.
This is taking a game and redoing it in today's standards. Which is what I've always wanted for a lot of these old games. It's like, don't just give me don't just
fresh skin.
Yeah, don't just skin it. Give me a whole new game. Like I would love to see the original, like as an example, the original Assassin's Creed or Assassin's Creed 2.
But in the new engine,
in the Assassin's Creed Odyssey
Origins.
engine.
Yeah, the Origins Odyssey. Remake one of those stories in that
that engine.
Yeah.
That would be so amazing.
Yeah. Next month we've got on the 22nd Maneater. Speaking of sharks.
Oh, the shark.
That has not been delayed
only,
yet,
isn't it?
No, that's Xbox, PlayStation, PC.
Is it going to be Game Pass?
I doubt it.
Oh,
I mean, eventually maybe, but it is not.
That word eventually is so true, because I think I was commenting to you a couple of weeks ago that Game Pass has led me to realize that if you really want to play a game, just wait a while. It'll eventually make its way to Game Pass.
Journey to the Savage Planet came out yesterday on Game Pass.
And it's only been out, 2 months?
Maybe not even that.
I think it's at least 2 months that we were talking about it.
Really fun game, though.
Oh, it is. It is. It's a great game. And now it's on Game Pass, so go check it out.
Yeah. I've been using a lot of the PC Game Pass stuff lately. The PC Game Pass is also really good. I am looking forward to Gears Tactics on PC Game Pass because games.
It's Gears and games.
It's Gears.
And achievements.
Yeah, I'm a fan of all of those things.
I've been getting achievements on Xbox, but on my phone. On my phone.
What? When did that happen? Sudoku?
Sudoku. I realized that Microsoft Sudoku is available on Android. I'm like, yes, I love Sudoku. So it's got the daily challenges and stuff in there, which I love going into.
I have not been doing the daily challenges. I've been popping on every once in a while and playing a little bit of that.
You got to get the achievements for the daily challenges.
I got most of the achievements, just not the daily ones. I've been playing Wordament on there as well. Wordament is a fun one.
Wordament is so old now, isn't it?
It is ridiculously old, but it's an updated version. There's like a campaign map.
Is there?
If you go in, it's not against other people anymore. It's now you just get your grid and you do it yourself. So it's not timed anymore.
Oh, good. I will download that again. Check that out. I also have Microsoft Solitaire collection, which I love. I've been playing that for years. Love that game. Again, I like to go in and do the daily challenges.
Yeah, those are some good ones to play if you're bored. You're sitting on the couch. You just gotta.
Those games to me are games that I will play right before I go to sleep. I'll get in bed. I'll lay down, turn it on. I'll play the daily challenge, and then I'll go to sleep. That's my sort of get ready for bed type activity.
Well, that's a good idea. I'll do that. I'll play a little poker or something like that on one of the apps.
Listen, we don't need to talk about your sexual life.
I said a little poker, not a big poker.
Wow.
Lego Masters. I watched that this week.
Oh yes, the Star Wars episode.
Yes,
I felt a little disappointed with that episode. I don't know why. I can't articulate why.
It's because nobody went home.
I was
Spoilers.
okay with that.
Nobody went home.
But I don't know. There was just something underwhelming about the whole Star Wars theme.
I think it's because everything was shown. I don't know. Like everything was like really close up because they didn't want to show everything as it was coming together until the end, until the big reveal.
Which is normal.
But because it's Star Wars, we wanted to sort of see how it was going together as well.
Yeah, and I guess what it really comes down to when I think of it is I don't think those models were very impressive. I don't think they were as impressive as their other previous models they've done.
Because here's part of the thing. What they're doing is basically building stuff that we've already seen sets for.
Yeah.
And then basically, like, I mean, yeah, they may have been building it from scratch in their own designs and stuff like that.
Of course.
But like an AT-AT already exists. You can get a Lego AT-AT set.
Yep.
Right.
And a snow speeder and
all those things exist. So like, it's really just building a diorama with stuff that, like that's like me. I could do that. I could get all those sets if I had them available. I could.
Could you though?
Given. Yeah, but you build them and then you're staging them into a thing, and it's not as impressive as some of the, the creations that they came up from their own mind, because they didn't like the robot part was more fun, I think.
Yes, I enjoyed the droids part where they were building their own droid. That was great, and I think you're right. I think you've hit it on the nose. Is because they didn't build anything that was new to us, so we weren't like, oh wow, that's amazing, because we've seen it before everywhere. Yeah. That's
like I've seen an AT-AT Lego before. Great, you've built one and you've put it here.
I mean, some of it was interesting, like how they made the kite speeder on Crate have the dust of smoke or dust of the red dust behind it.
Yeah,
they had that pillow of dust coming behind it. That was interesting how they did stuff like that. You know, and an explosion, and the AT-AT actually with snow falling from where it hit the ground. So there's little details that were really well done.
Yeah, but those were like, just in that last part of the reveal. And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so less.
Next week, the preview looks like it's going to be amazing. They actually have to create works of art from the Lego. So this is where it's not going to be like an imaginary scene, like with like a fairy tale thing. They actually have to build something that could be considered a work of art. And I'm like, wow, from some of the previews they showed, it looks like it's going to be amazing. I love this show, Tico. The Lego Masters show is so well done. Like, I'm really, really enjoying it.
I'm really enjoying it as well. It's fun. I love Will Arnett.
He's good. He's a good
host.
As
the host. He is just fun as a host. He treats it like what it is. He doesn't treat it like this is the most serious thing in the world to him, like you see some hosts try to do at times when they do hosting duties. Like, he realized he's a comedian. He's going to go out there. He's going to make fun of the process. He's making fun of the hosting process.
Yes, he makes fun of himself as a host. It's great. No, I think he's a really good host for this. And the way he interacts with the contestants is great. And I like how they sort of make fun of the typical reality show tropes. Yeah. He's like, this is the point in the show where we do such and such, but we're not going to do that,
Yeah. It's like, this is the point where they're going to make me go to commercial before we do but we're not doing it that way.
That's right. It's
great. Wait. They're making me go to commercial.
That's right.
It's fun.
Now, quick question before we move on. Do you think C-3PO was Anthony Daniels?
No.
No?
No.
Why not?
I don't think that they trot Anthony Daniels out for these sort of things. I don't think that they call him up and say, hey, we got another gig for you.
Well, I mean, they had Terry Crews, and they had, who else did they have on they had a bunch of guest stars on the show throughout the season.
Yeah, they've had guest stars, but I don't think that, like, it's not, you don't need to pay Anthony Daniels rates to, and have him come and hop into the suit to come out there, when you can just get whatever backstage, key grip you want to throw on a suit and go from there.
Well, then who was doing the voice?
You can't do a C-3PO voice?
Not like Anthony Daniels. I mean, it was a pretty spot on C-3PO impression. So.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure that there's people out there who can do.
Yeah, you probably. I was curious because they have had, guest stars come on the show as guest hosts.
I'm looking up IMDb right now to see if there's a credit for him in it.
Oh, good call. Good call. Well, this is going to really put a pause in the show then, isn't it?
Well, not if you keep talking.
Well, I don't have much else to talk about, honestly. Like, I haven't been watching a whole lot because there hasn't been a whole lot to watch. Dorothy and I rewatched Rain Man last night. That's how, decrepit the landscape has been.
Yeah,
for new TV shows.
we just finished rewatching Friends.
We've watched really.
Yeah, in about 3 weeks, we watched 10 seasons of Friends.
Wow. You know what? I finally got Aria to start watching. Community.
No. Oh, that's a
and
good show.
She's loving it. I'm like, yes,
that's a good show.
Score one for me.
We just started rewatching Castle.
I saw that.
Yeah, so we just started rewatching.
You've seen it though, right?
Oh yeah, we've seen it, but I'm just looking for stuff to rewatch at this point.
Yeah. We have all 8 seasons of Castle on DVD because Aria loves Castle. Aria loves Nathan Fillion, so she has all of the Castles on DVD, and we watch The Rookie every week when it's on. So yeah, she loves Nathan Fillion. Every time she sees him, that's my boyfriend. My boyfriend is on. And of course, I told her that Nathan Fillion was on a couple episodes of Community. So
yes,
the final season, I think.
Yeah. We've been rewatching that. I've been watching a show myself called Taskmaster. It's a British series. So there's, I think.
You mentioned that show, and I looked at the description, and it sounded really dumb.
It sort of is. So what it to me, it feels a lot like Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Which I love. Oh,
which you love.
Dorothy and I have been watching that, which is great.
So each series, which is the British word for seasons,
yes,
but there's less episodes. There's like 6 to 8 episodes or something like that per series. They get a collection of 5 comics, British comics. So like people that not necessarily aware of.
Heard of. Okay.
Although the series I'm watching now does have one guy. Have you ever watched the IT Crowd?
Yes.
Yeah. So Richmond.
Oh no. Okay.
Is in this series.
Okay.
So then they have these comedians, and the Taskmaster gives these comedians tasks to do, and it might be something as like the one I just watched was make an elegant sandwich. And so they have to make a sandwich, and he judges who makes the best sandwich. And so they all make these fancy sandwiches, these huge sandwiches and everything like that. And then they're handed the second part of the task, which is eat your fancy sandwich.
Okay, so the very first episode, the description was these contestants are given the task to paint a picture of a horse while riding a horse.
Yeah.
I'm like, that sounds really dumb. What is this show?
It's entertaining. Some of the tasks are not as great, but I'm finding it very funny to watch them do, because there's always the one comedian who's sort of like underhanded and he cheats. Like he'll find some way to cheat a task. There's one of the tasks where they're asked to they have these 3 large balls, like the inflatable bouncy balls.
And how many jokes came out of that?
Not as many, but they were given at their end part. And there's these 3 balls. It says get these 3 balls to the mat on top of that hill, and they're too big that you can carry all 3 of them at once. So you're taking 2, you putting them on the mat, then they go get the last one that the wind blows the other ones down. And it's all this, and it's them trying to get these 3 balls onto this mat. And the one comedian who went last walked up to the top of the hill, got the mat, brought it down, and then put them all 3 balls on the mat at that spot because he read the clue properly.
Right.
It didn't say you had to carry the balls up.
Right.
And it's really, really interesting to watch how people try to manipulate the things, how people will try to sort of cheat with some of the stuff. And it does get some of the tasks are, not as funny, but I find it to be very funny so far. There's 9 series of this.
Is it
so far?
Is it a half an hour? What is it?
Yes.
Oh,
I think it's a half hour. I think it's a half hour.
It's a half-hour show?
I think it's a half-hour show.
So bizarre. Man, you really are scraping the bottom of the barrel here, right?
My son told me about this show, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to give it a shot. And I'm enjoying. Again, it's one of those ones that you can sort of have on in the background as you're watching, as you're doing other stuff. Movies wise, there's been, like they've sort of been a lull. They released a bunch of stuff, and now there's.
Oh, I watched Bloodshot. I just remembered.
Well, what did you think of Bloodshot?
I actually really enjoed it.
It's by no means is it a good movie.
No, I mean it's also not a terrible movie.
Yeah.
I liked it for what it was. You know, I doubt it's going to be a series. I doubt we're going to see a sequel for it. But
No,
you could, I suppose.
You could. I mean, you could see a sequel for anything if you want. I mean, you could have Rain Man 2 if you really wanted to. I mean,
sure. Okay.
I'm just saying you can make a sequel out of anything.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was based on it's based on a comic book, so I thought it was, it was a comic book film. It was, it's Vin Diesel. It's like Vin Diesel's not like the greatest actor in the history of the world, but he's a great action star.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, and I enjoyed it.
It was fun, and it's one of those ones. It's an interesting thing with that. If that had been a Marvel movie, part of the MCU, everybody would have been like,
greatest
glowing.
things in sliced bread.
It would have been fantastic. Everybody would have absolutely loved it if it had been a part of the MCU, because it's an independent Valiant Comics, I believe it is.
Yeah. Well, I think it would have had a bit of a different quality if it were an MCU.
It may have, but like the story itself though was not terrible. It was a decent.
It was a
decent story. I think that it certainly did get hurt by the theater release at the time of the virus, and then the expectation that the quality is lower because it hit video on demand so quickly.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed it. I think it's definitely worth watching, especially now that it's on video on demand. I would probably watch it again eventually. It's like, throw out. It's like I think you described it as sort of like a Triple X, which was also a Vin Diesel film. It is very much like a Triple X. It's just
it's something that's like, don't go into it expecting great things.
It was better than Justice League. Let's say that.
Well, yeah, but there's not much that I feel that is not better than Justice League, to be honest with you.
I'm just saying, of all the, that was a major DC film. And
yeah.
Yet, Bloodshot was still better than a major a film with Wonder Woman, Batman, Aquaman, Superman, all of them in it. It's still better than that.
Yeah. Agreed.
Agreed. So I think maybe we should just call it a day. I don't want to stretch this out. So we're literally just vamping here. It's we are getting to that point in this isolation where there's not a whole lot going on. And I really wanted to get in a review of the TT Isle of Man. I mean, again, definitely check that out if you like the sim racers. It is a fantastic Superbike sim racer. It's so well done. I'm just terrible at it. But it's a gorgeous game. Check that out. Available for Xbox and PS4. And I think that's pretty much it. Unless you have something else, Tico?
No.
Thanks for that. Pondering. Well, you can follow the show on Twitter at the OMG Hour. And of course, I am Ziantane everywhere. And that is XIANTAYNE.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Second Place.
Okay. So maybe we'll talk to you next week. Who knows?
Possibly. Yeah, there's a chance.
All right. Have a good week, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Check that link right there.
Which one?
That one down there. And then
below us?
Check out those two links.
Other way. There we go. There. No. You put no.
There it is.
There we go.
Oh
that
my
way.
Gosh. I will never get this right. Thanks for everybody for listening or watching. You know what?
They might be watching or listening.
I'm out. I'm out of here.
You done?
Let's go.
All right.